95.7 The Game.
All right, Chewy. Go, Biz! What up, Chew Dog? Cool in the gang. Got to hear it last night. Got to hear it Monday. Ace. 7 straight wins. But that is an afterthought after what happened yesterday. We're going to get to the calls in just a second. 888-957-9570. Kindly be patient. We'll get to everybody as we speak about the Oakland A's and what happened yesterday. Casey Pratt will be joining us in moments. And Casey's been all over this entire. He's done really a remarkable job of covering every step of the situation with the Oakland Athletics moving to Las Vegas. He really has. Creator of TV content, ABC 7, Channel 7. He's a roaster. He's got Emmys. I mean, he's done a remarkable job. Really, he's the guy to talk to when it comes to this situation. And, of course, at 251, the Nevada State Senate passed a bill in which they will fund $380 million for a new stadium in Las Vegas. And yesterday, Shasky, again, the feeling I had, which I had to turn it off midway through, and I watched the end of the game when the A's won it. But it's just sad to me. It was sad that it's come down to this. Like, we know what happened with the Raiders game and the Jaguars game and everything like that, but to see the reverse boycott and you don't even get 30,000 out. And I don't blame A's fans for going. I wouldn't go either. But how many times can you kick a fan base in the face? Just literally just kick them in the face and sat their soul out to move to Las Vegas. And an owner, the worst part about it is the owner just won't even come out.
Well, no, that's one of the worst parts about it. There's like 15 worst parts about it. I just can't. I've never felt like they've dealt in good faith. No. And I think that's the thing that drives everyone crazy. It's one thing if you just can't strike a deal. We have this in life. Like, two parties can't come to an agreement. Mm-hmm. It's another when you feel like one end of that deal maker feels like they're not being fully honest and candid, and it feels disingenuous from the jump. And it's always felt disingenuous. And so not only are you not making a deal and it was disingenuous, you wasted so much taxpayer time, energy, and money. And that, to me, is like, it's not a war crime, but it's pretty damn bad.
No, it's bad. It's bad on the list of everything bad. Dave Cavill, the way he's barked and talked.
That guy.
That's bad. Chris Rose said it earlier today on the Morning Roast, in case you missed it. Chris Rose, John Boy Media, NFL Network, where he basically said the owners should be obligated to speak twice a year at the beginning of the season and the end of the season to talk about the state of the team. We know Joe Lacob has no problem talking. He'll go out there and talk. Jerry Jones, we see him talk at the football games. Yeah. He's slowed down a little bit, but he's visible. John Fisher's not even visible, which is the biggest slap in the face of the A's fan, in my opinion. Let's go to Casey Pratt, who's waiting patiently on hold here. Casey, again, you've done such a great job of covering every step of the way. If not for you, I would be lost on this situation, but you've done such a great job. So let's start here, Casey, and we appreciate the time this morning on the Morning Roast. Of course, Casey Pratt, ABC 7 right here at KGO. What was it like yesterday being in that yard? Was it sad? Did you feel some type of way? What were your emotions like last night at the Coliseum?
I mean, I would say that the vibe out there was absolutely electric, eclectic. A's fans brought all their soul, all their passion into the building. Hell, they brought it all to the tailgate. I was at the tailgate for the whole first several hours of the day, and it was insane there. They were giving out the Cell shirts. The Oakland 68s were there. They had music. They had tacos. They had tequila. I was getting mobbed left and right just from people that were thanking me for keeping them informed, and frankly, a lot of them were worried about what was going on in Nevada, and I just kept telling them, like, don't even worry about what's going on in Nevada. Just take this night, have this night. We'll deal with the fallout later, because it was a crazy vibe out there.
Yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on just everything feeling like a farce? Is that too strong? Is that me being too cynical? Like, it just, I can't believe that they've wasted so much time, energy, and money, not of their own. Like, that's their job, is to exert that. Like, you're running a business, a deli, a liquor store, a retail company. That's their job, to try to find, the best outcomes for themselves. But to waste the public's time, energy, money, etc., that's the thing that really bugs me this morning. Like, seeing those fans get screwed in that fashion, I have a hard time swallowing that.
Yeah, I echo your passion on that, and I think you're absolutely right, because, a lot of people are dragging Oakland and saying, why can't they just get a deal? Why can't they just get a deal? You can't make a deal with somebody that's not willing to deal with you. You can't make a deal with somebody that's not willing to hold up their end of the bargain, right? And they dragged their feet the whole way through, especially down to the end when they needed to either put up or shut up here, and they took their ball and went to Las Vegas. So I think that when you look at the A's ownership group, they've been looking everywhere but their own wallet for money this entire time, especially down to the end. And you just can't make a deal with someone that's not reasonable and willing to be a good partner. And frankly, you can't buy a team from somebody that's not willing to sell it either. And that's the problem, is you have an owner squatting on this Major League Baseball franchise and taking it to Las Vegas, and there's just nothing anyone can do about it except for what they did last night, which was take a Tuesday night game that would probably have had 2,000 people there and pack 27,000 plus, almost 28 plus, a whole bunch of people that kept sending me messages all night saying they were stuck in traffic up to 2 hours after first pitch because there were so many people there. So I'm sure they would have had over 30. And, I mean, that's a huge statement because that's A's fans that did that. They organized their own giveaways. They organized this whole event. They had a team that was left for dead, and they brought it back to life for one night to celebrate and just be together.
Wow. Casey Pratt here on the Morning Rush on 95.7 The Game. You can hear the passion through his voice. Dave Kaval, what was your impressions of Dave Kaval when he first took this job with the A's? And what's your impressions of Dave Kaval now?
All right, well, this is the thing about Dave Kaval, right? Like, this guy came in here. He held office hours with fans. He helped foster improvements in the Coliseum. He answered damn near everybody that sent him a message about something that was going wrong at the Coliseum or something that they needed help with. And he was out there. But the thing is because he was so out there early on, it made it so freaking obvious when he wasn't out there anymore, when he stopped trying. And that's what's funny about it, right? Like, he's invisible too now. They gave this guy an ownership stake of the team to speak for John Fisher. Where are these guys? They weren't there last night, and they don't answer questions anymore. And like you were saying, Chris Rose said, every owner should have to speak, the beginning or end of the season. But right now, neither of these guys can show their face anywhere around here because it's just met with repulsion at this point.
Yeah. I'm curious on, because the one team that kind of has escaped criticism in this, or I guess the one element, is the Giants. And I'm not saying it's the Giants' fault, but they definitely have some culpability, whether we're talking about territorial rights or we're talking about market share, their own success, them being in the same market and they're retaining players while you're getting rid of them, right? Like there's a little element or big element, depending on how you view it, of the Giants in this aspect. And Casey, I couldn't help but think if this were alternate universe, multi-universe, and the A's had built a stadium, let's say in 2000, and the Giants were still searching, wouldn't they be in an almost identical situation?
Yeah, and that's what's sad about it, and I give you a lot of props for actually bringing that up because I think a lot of people are afraid to talk about it, to be honest. And, when the Giants were talking about moving, and they were
77,
they're going
80s, 90s.
Yeah. They were out the door. I mean, we had fans going to games, Brandon Crawford even, thinking they were on their way to St. Pete. And the A's ownership group at the time, they gave the Giants the territorial rights to San Jose so that they could build in San Jose and they could stay in the Bay Area because the Haas family that owned the A's back in the 80s when they had the highest payroll in baseball, the highest attendance in baseball, the Bash brothers, Ricky, Eck, all these guys, Stu, they thought baseball was a community asset. They didn't think it was something to line their own pockets. They thought baseball was for the community, to steward in goodwill for the entire Bay Area. And so they gave the Giants the T rights to San Jose, and when the A's were desperate and needing a home, it was Larry Baer and the Giants that wouldn't give them back. They gave the Giants those rights for free. They wouldn't give them back in order to keep the A's in Oakland or San Jose in this case. So there's also a lot of rumblings, too. John Shea covered it really well. I mean, I don't think we need to get into all the specifics, but there's been other times when they were trying to get new owners in, and there were Giants people that were pushing against certain owners because they thought they'd be too strong owners in this market. it would hurt their market share. Now, I'm going to say one thing in defense of the Giants here, because obviously giving up the territorial rights to a region, even if they got it for free, that's a tough call for a business. If you're being a business, that's valuable.
Right. Agreed.
The other thing is, and I'm not saying this is true, but if you own the A's back in the 80s and you said, go ahead, you can have San Jose, well, then what happens to San Francisco? How many A's fans start showing up in San Francisco? And I understand all that, but I think that in all of this, as good stewards of Bay Area baseball, the Giants haven't played their part, at least for the East Bay.
Wow. So what's next, Casey? What's next? Say the Senate in Nevada, obviously they passed $380 million. In Major League Baseball, they approve of the relocation for the A's to go to Vegas. What happens next season? Do they come back and actually play another season in Oakland? Or will it be so bad here in the Bay Area that they have to play at maybe a minor league stadium in Las Vegas or whatever the hell they may have to play? Is this it for the city of Oakland? Is this the last year of A's baseball in Oakland 2023?
Last night, as far as I'm concerned, may have been the last night for Oakland baseball in any meaningful way. And I think that everyone out there will tell you that. But the A's have a contract, a lease, to play at the Oakland Coliseum through the end of next season.
Right.
If the A's say, we are going to Las Vegas, this is a done deal, they actually have to do immediately about $28 million that they still owe on their half of the Coliseum site. But on top of that, if I were the city of Oakland, if I was running the Oakland Coliseum, I don't know what the legal ramifications are. I'm just speaking passionately here. I would kick them out, man. I'd be like, go ahead. You want to be in Vegas? Have fun. You go play in that minor league park in 110-degree heat in the summer with no roof. That's you now. That's what you chose. Enjoy 3 years in a minor league park in the dead of summer. And let's see how the Players Union feels about Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani playing in a minor league park in 110-degree heat in Las Vegas.
Wow, that's a great point. Do you remember how strange it was that last season of Raiders football in Oakland? It was so weird.
It was weird, yeah. Yeah, it was weird. And, that was actually kind of... I remember watching that all unfold, too, and I remember the fans and all the things being thrown on the field, and I remember John Gruden at the time running and trying to give everybody in the black hole one last dap, and it's just hard, man. It's really tough to see this happening all over again. It really sucks. It sucks for everybody out here, and it particularly sucks because if the A's ownership made any effort at all, this wouldn't be happening. It wouldn't be happening on the field. It wouldn't be happening in the back rooms where they're trying to complete a Vegas deal. I don't think anyone in Vegas wants this either, and that's the other problem. But they're ramming it through despite that. This group is they've just failed. They've failed everybody out here.
Well, and so is Major League Baseball. I mean, it feels like to me, in a similar way. I know there's different elements. But like Jerry Jones was the one who wanted to go to Vegas for the NFL. He wanted the NFL in LA again. And it feels like to me, Major League Baseball owners want to be in the Las Vegas market. Does it not?
Yeah, I think that could be true. The problem is there's no Jerry Jones in Major League Baseball. There's no power broker, eccentric owner that's going to make things happen behind the scenes. It's just like an old boys club led by Rob Manfred, and he just does whatever they want. And if they had any smarts at all, all you have to do is sell the rights to the A's to somebody locally, and there's several groups that would buy this team right now.
But Casey,
the problem, Joe Lacob would too.
The problem with that is that, and this is what the other owners would say, because I've heard this argument. Their response is, well, if I underperform for X amount of years, are you going to force me to sell my team too? This is why it was so difficult to get Donald Sterling out for so long in the NBA. Other owners are afraid that you're going to rip their team away from them for X, Y, and Z, issues of punishment.
You're right. No, you're 100% right. So the second half of what I was going to say, because you're dead on with that. No owner wants to be pushed out. They're all afraid.
Right.
And nobody wants to get this revenue sharing check and then feel like they're going to get the boot. But what you got to do is sell the team to somebody out here. Then let John Fisher expand Vegas. They've already done all the work. They already have the deal. The deal in Vegas is for Major League Baseball. It's not for the Oakland A's. It doesn't say Oakland A's anywhere in the contract.
Did you know They did a Major League Baseball franchise swap when David Sampson and his group acquired the Montreal Expos and then moved them to the Nationals. They basically swapped the ownership of Montreal to Major League Baseball in exchange for the Marlins. It's like, it does happen, or at least it did happen.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that here. The other thing is Dave Calvo grew up a Cleveland Browns fan. Look what happened to the Browns.
Yeah.
They became the Ravens, and then the name the Browns was retained by Cleveland, and then they became the Browns again.
Well, remember,
it's not unprecedented.
Well, Art Modell was never allowed back in the state of Ohio, nor did he go back to the state of Ohio after he moved the Browns. Will John Fisher be able to? I guess he technically can come back to the Bay Area, but probably wouldn't be able to show. We don't even know what he looks like. That's part of the problem, Casey. We barely even know what he looks like. So I guess he would be able to come back to the Bay Area and handle some business there. But I can't anticipate him getting a nice little reception whenever he comes back to the Bay. I mean, this is cutthroat. This is a team that's got a lot of history in Oakland, Casey.
No, he can't. I mean, unless he does what's right. Why would you buy a baseball team, right? Like, why would you buy a baseball team to vilify yourself? Like, if I owned a baseball team and I were a billionaire, I would go broke because I'd be spending so much on the roster and trying to make the fans happy. And like, could you imagine just sitting through a game, watching a team you own play on the field and not feel some way, like, and not try to do everything you can to make that team a winner?
Well, does he even watch?
Buy a team.
Well, does he even watch?
He's been in the stands. He goes to games. I don't know how much he watches because nobody knows anything about Fisher. He won't talk to anybody. But yeah, I've seen him in the stands before.
That's unbelievable. Guy won't even talk to nobody, man. That is I just can't believe he hasn't came out one time throughout this entire process and said anything.
He has no pride. I mean, think about the integrity and pride. Like, we all, have pride in whatever job we're doing or in our families or in our community or whatever. This is like, I couldn't conduct myself that way. Like what you're describing.
How can you sleep?
That's what I'm saying.
Can you sleep at night?
God.
I guess money cures all, huh? I don't know. Casey, you're doing a magnificent job covering this, man. I know it's not over.
Good
the
stuff,
fight for
Casey.
the A's staying in Oakland, but man, it's starting to look more bleak and bleak and bleak as the days go on. Casey, good stuff, man. We appreciate the time today again.
Yeah, man, and I got so many hugs and dabs and congrats and selfies yesterday, and only three people thought I was Brody Brazil, guys. So it was a good day.
Well, we tried to get Brody Brazil, but he wouldn't pick
it's
up.
Me,
so
Brody Brazil. Now to
Casey.
you, Bip.
I'm kidding, Casey. You and Brody doing a good job.
I think you're taller
man.
than him too.
You are.
Yeah.
You are. You got to buy a few inches, actually. All right, Casey. Have a good one.
Have a good one, Case.
Have a good one, guys.
Casey Pratt, man, doing a wonderful job covering
You can feel the hurt in his voice.
Oh, hell yeah. Brody, I'm watching